This is lesson 93, Operations with Signed Numbers in Saxon's second edition Algebra 1/2 book. This lesson really is just a reminder of our order of operations, and that you need to remember when you're solving long expressions like this, you need to do your multiplication and division first before you do any addition or subtraction. Now the exception to that is if you have symbols of inclusion, parentheses, brackets, that kind of thing, you need to do what's inside those first. Then do your multiplication and division, and then finish with any addition or subtraction. So let's look at this example. It says simplify this long expression here. Well, the first thing I'm drawn to is that I have two sets of parentheses. So I'm going to do this one first. -2 minus 3 is -5, plus 1 is -4. I'm going to keep that in parentheses, okay? Here I've got -3 minus 2, which is -5. Now I still have another symbol of inclusion. I've got these brackets. So I'm going to need to do what's inside these brackets. I'm just going to bring this down. -2 times -4 minus, and the answer to inside the brackets here is -20. So when I do my left to right, my multiplication here, -2 times -4 is +8, and these two negatives are going to make this 20 positive. So what I have is 8 plus 20, which is 28. Our next example, we have this expression, pretty long, several symbols of inclusion. The first thing I'm going to do, inside these parentheses, I'm not going to say -2 minus 3 is -5 times 5. That would not be correct. Do your multiplication first. So -3 times 5 is -15, minus 2 is -17. Keep that in the parentheses for right now. Bring this down, bring this down. Let's solve what's in here. 3 minus 5 is -2, and -2 times +2, because I've got multiplication there, is -4. And then I'm going to bring down this +2. Then I'm going to come on down, and I'm going to do -2 times -17 gives me +34. Then I'm just going to bring down this minus, this 2, and I'm going to solve what's inside these brackets. -4 and +2 is -2. Now I'm going to solve that because it's a multiplication. -2 times -2 is +4. Then when I add 34 plus 4, I'm going to get 38. So let's work, you only have 2 practice problems. Let's work those together. Okay, so the first thing I'm drawn to is I have some parentheses and some brackets that I'm going to need to deal with. On this left side, we have -3 minus 5 in parentheses. I'm just going to bring down this -2. And then -3 minus 5 is -8. Bring this down. Bring down the brackets for right now, and the 6. Solve what's in here. So -2 and +8 is 6, and then plus 2. Okay, I've still got these symbols of inclusion here I've got to deal with. So I'm just gonna bring this down. Well, now I can go ahead and multiply that out. -2 times -8 is +16, plus 6 times 6 is 36. 36 plus 2 is 38. And when I add 38 plus 16, I'm going to get 54 as my final answer. So if you do it and you didn't get 54, you've got to go back and look and see. It makes a huge difference. Doing this in the correct order will make a huge difference in the outcome. So you have to be very, very careful. Okay, in B we have in parentheses here, I'm just going to bring this 3 down. I'm going to solve this inside the parentheses. Negative 8 minus 2 is negative 10. Then I'm going to bring this down and this down. I'm going to solve what's in here. 3 minus 2 is 1. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply that 1 by 4. And then I get rid of those brackets. Now I've got some multiplication to do right here. So 3 times negative 10 is negative 30 plus 2 minus 4. If I add my negatives together, I get negative 34 plus 2 equals negative 32. Alright, my biggest caution to you is make sure that you follow your order of operations. Go back and check yourself to make sure you did that, and you'll do fine with this lesson. See you next time for lesson 94.